Right, so we're going to be looking at the routine of prepare, observe and move. Now, it's a routine that we use when we're moving away from the side of the road, or from a parking space, or so basically a stationary position. So that doesn't include when we're waiting at traffic lights in stop-start traffic. Okay, so let's think, when would we be moving away from the side of the road? Well, from a parking space, from the side of the road, to move off when the examiner says drive on when you're ready. And we'd also be using the same routine when we're doing the first phase of our turning in the road. So we do a usual cockpit drill in the usual way. Again, make sure your seat belt's on properly and secured and that all the doors are shut. You turn the key 2.5 times until it starts, and then you release the key. And now that's the start of the preparation phase. So we're going to use our left foot on the left pedal, push it all the way to the floor, keep it still. With our right hand, we're going to push the gear lever over to and push it up into first gear. We'll put our hands back on the steering wheel. We're then going to set the gas pedal. So again, all we're going to do is just rest our foot on it, and we're going to squeeze it very, very gently, like we're checking the ripeness of a fruit. And again, keep it nice and still. And the rev counter, which is the dial that's on our left, now reads 15 rather than 10, which is what it was when we first started the car. Okay. Now very slowly we're going to bring the clutch up until the engine noise changes. You'll also feel as if the car wants to move. Okay. So we're going to be lifting it up in little tiny bits like this, little tiny bits, until we get to the stage that it starts to move, or it wants to start to move, and then we keep our feet still. So it's tiny little steps, one at a time, okay? And those little steps is about the thickness of a pound coin. So again, really, really thin. Alright, so we're just going to bring it up really slowly, really gently. Now the engine noise has changed, and the front of the car is beginning to raise. It's at this point that we keep both feet still. Now that's the end of the preparation phase. Now we need to complete some observations. Now, our door mirrors don't show us blind spots, so we need to check our blind spots as well as our door mirrors, and we need to finish looking over our right hand side because I'm parked at the side of the road by the curb on the left. Okay, so we always check the most dangerous side last, and when I'm moving forwards it would be my right hand side, because that's where cars and cyclists and everybody else will be overtaking me from. Okay, so my feet haven't moved. Going to look all the way over my left shoulder, all the way out to where the back seat belt is on the passenger side. Going to look all the way through, past every seat belt, every door mirror, including the front window and the front mirror that we look at to use to see what's behind us. Over to the right hand door mirror, then all the way over to the right hand side. Now over my right hand side is the mouth of a junction. Now if I hadn't have checked my right hand shoulder, I wouldn't have seen there was a car coming, because I cannot see the mouth of that junction in any of my door mirrors. Okay, so let's just show you those observations again. You start over by the back seat belt, you come past all the seat belts, including all the mirrors, including the centre one in the middle, out the front window, over to the right hand door mirror, then right over the right hand side to the back seat belt. Now if there's nobody there, there's nobody in front of us, there's nobody to the side of us, and there's nobody emerging from that junction to the right, there is no requirement to signal. If you think about it, what you're doing is you're signalling to tell everybody that you're ready to move away from the side of the road. Well, if there's going to be nobody to see it, you don't necessarily need to signal. Okay? Now if you were to signal, it wouldn't necessarily cause a problem, but by doing your observations and seeing that there's nobody around, the examiner would be looking at you thinking, I wonder if they're going to signal. Well, if I've done my observations, just like that, there still isn't anybody there to see me signal. There's no requirement to signal. And then I release the handbrake. So I pop the lift the handle up, pop the button in with my thumb, keep it in, and then I push it all the way down. Now if I don't push it all the way down and I just let it drop, when I start to move, the vehicle will start to ping at me and make that warning noise. And that warning noise means that the handbrake's not been disengaged properly. So again, we just do it again. So you lift the handbrake up just slightly, press the button in, keep it in, handbrake goes down. We put our hands back on the steering wheel, and then it's just time to move forwards, because the moment we drop the handbrake, the car moves. And then we just steer enough to the right hand side without crossing our arms, just to make sure that we come away from the curb a little bit. And then the yellow and the blue spot that's on the front window want to line up with approximately where the curb is. Now it will only be approximate, it's only a rough estimate, but that will be approximately a door's width away from the curb, which is about a metre. Okay. Now obviously if it's quite a narrow road you might have to do slightly less than that, and that's something that we'll talk about in the car. So that's the prepare, observe and move routine.